So, Paul, I'm excited to have you here today and explore you and obviously this dynamic that you teach to the world.
Well, thanks for having me, Brian. It's great to be here.
Paul, one of the only questions I ask every guest on both shows that I have is, regardless of however I introduced you, and given that you and I have never met before, who are you in your words?
Yeah, well, I think I am a face the music, straight shooter, um, practicing intellectual honesty and sort of person. And and I found that that has got me through life in a pretty good way. No matter what I was doing, whether it was sports, uh, business, relationships, of course, and friends, and anything. And, I mean, you guys were just talking about practicing forgiveness. And my own experience has been that understanding um, goes a long way in helping you to forgive. Trying to walk a mile in somebody else's shoes,
Yeah.
really try to understand what is going on in the world. I just think it puts you in a better place to understand what other people are going through and the challenges they're experiencing, and what led to certain decisions.
Yeah.
And so my book, which is called Capital Offense: Why Some Benefit at Your Expense, is in my opinion, is a book about truth. And there's a lot of anger in the world these days.
Tons.
And I believe that a lot of the anger is a result of our unfair monetary system,
Mhm.
which is not a conspiracy theory. It was good intentions gone bad.
Yep.
The perpetrators, if I could use that word, actually believed that it was going to be in everybody's best interest, and that by driving asset prices higher, either homes or stocks, that eventually the benefits would trickle down to everybody else.
Yep.
It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't.
and and in particular, the ones who are hurt are the younger generation and newcomers to our respective countries. And so when people see that the system seems to be unfair and they don't understand why, they can't connect the dots between
Mhm.
cause and effect, then it becomes very easy. You need someone to blame. Like if it's not working for you, despite the fact that you're playing by all the rules and doing all the right things, but it's still not working out, you naturally look for someone to blame.
That's right.
And then it becomes very easy to become politically divided. So then Democrats will blame Republicans, Republicans will blame Democrats, up here's liberals and conservatives, and then that brings forth the leaders who will sort of foment that sort of anger, and it's so sad. And so my book is not about retribution, it's about understanding and empowering. I think the average person is very smart,
I agree.
and particularly with their own skin in the game, with their own capital, deciding
Mhm.
what to do with their own capital. And but the average person is not in a position to to demand the right actions by our policymakers because they don't understand how the system works. And so there's an old saying that the people always get the government that they deserve. Or no, the people always get the yeah. And that's only true if people actually understand what's going on, and then you can
Yeah.
vote and demand accordingly. But that's decidedly not the case today. And yeah, so that's what my book is
Yeah.
about: empowering very smart people to make better changes.
Yeah. There is so much depth to that answer, and I really appreciate even the way that you navigated from the answer to who you are into the work that you're doing. And by the way, I hear them as one and the same as well. it is interesting. I do believe that my reason for existence, my purpose in this world, is to allow my truth to give others permission to live theirs.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
And yes, I think that someone who seeks justice, who advocates for himself and teaches others to advocate for themselves and advocate for each other. So much of meeting people where they are comes from understanding, but so much of the separation, disconnection, and hate that exists is because of a lack of even an attempt or interest to understand by so many parties. And
Yeah.
therefore, this fighting leads to forcing aside, and then no one wins when you and I both know that the gift actually exists in the gray area.
Yeah.
And I so appreciate the heart that you even communicate about this with, because I can tell the level at which you really do care, and that this is an effort to give information and understanding to people so that they themselves can be empowered, to your point, to make those choices, or at least ask those questions, so they have options and opportunities to make choices. And that
Exactly.
that is, I believe, the ultimate pursuit of this lifetime, is when we can do that for ourselves and allow or create the environments for that to happen for others. So I just wanted to comment on that quickly before I ask further questions, because
Okay. Yeah.
Paul, it's
Thank
it's a
you.
privilege to have you with us today, and
Well,
I'm
thank you.
grateful for the way that you even just navigated that simple answer. It does bring me though to a very pointed question, which is, you not only have this passion and desire, obviously you founded Paddington Capital and you've been in the financial markets and business and understanding these things, helping other people create wealth and create those choices. But there's a deeper drive here for you that's beyond just an individual family having this access to wealth and knowledge. I hear from you, more systematic, cultural, and more targeted at a broader element of humanity. Give us a feel for your story or your early life that led you down this path and gave you this passion to ignite the flames of change.
Yeah. It it wasn't my intention to take this.
It rarely is, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I guess. And I had no idea. But I mean, it goes way back. Um, when I was younger, like I was horrible, not horrible person, but I didn't really have any friends because I was argumentative and competitive and had to win every argument. I'd make stuff up, you know. And especially if you're talking about stock markets or something, and you're saying something went up, you're just making it up. Always use a decimal point. It sounds like you really know what you're talking about. Yeah, we just make stuff up. And it's a silly thing, but this was back in the 1970s when I was living at home. And we used to get the milk and the three bags of
Mhm.
milk. And in our family, it was a contest to see. Nobody wanted to change the bag of milk. So you'd pour your milk and you'd leave just a little bit in the bottom so you didn't have to change it. Because I said, this is, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
this
it's like
is,
pushing the trash down instead of taking the bag out.
oh,
Yeah,
exactly.
same
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
So it became like an unspoken contest in our family. So I said, you know what? I'm not doing that anymore. So then when it got down towards the end, I would take it out, put a new one in, and put the almost empty one beside it so the next person coming wouldn't have to change it. And I didn't want any credit for doing it. I didn't tell anybody. I said, no, that's just the right thing to do. And and then a number of things happened over the years. I remember one time I got into a fight with my girlfriend. This was 1984. And we were having an argument. I was really good at arguing because I've been practicing it my whole life. And and then finally she said,
I
you know
laugh
what?
because I resonate so deeply with what you're saying right now.
Yeah, and with a lot of people, I'm sure. But yeah, I was particularly bad. And anyway, she finally said, okay, just stop. I can't beat you in an argument, but I know that I'm right. And when she was
Mm.
saying that, I was thinking to myself, I know you're right too. I just can't admit it. Now, needless to say, that relationship didn't last very long. And I remember going back into the house after she said that, and I said, I have to change. And from that moment, I've been on this intellectually honest journey and attempting to do no harm. Now,
Yeah.
my blog, which is called Political Economy, is a free weekly blog. I end every uh, post with be free and do no harm.
Yes.
And if you focus on doing no harm, either physically or emotionally,
Hmm.
and you go about your business doing the things that you love, it's almost impossible to not have a positive impact on those around you.
Hmm.
You know, it's really quite simple. It's hard to do, but it's a simple concept.
It's hard to learn to do, but once you do it, it becomes easy, right? And I
Exactly.
think there's a big fundamental shift here that I want to just really settle in on. Look, in the moments when I was dealing with shame and anger, I created a lot of damage in the reactions that I made in those moments.
Yeah.
And one of the tenets that I believe deeply in and teach is the idea of ownership. And part of ownership is creating repair. But the ultimate goal is to create no damage in the first place. Right?
Exactly.
It is essential. And I come from a place, I identify deeply with what you say. Today I joke. It's not a joke, it's real. My wife and I have been together for 19 years. We hid from each other unconsciously for 14, and she's only felt emotionally safe with me for 3.
Wow.
And it's not a coincidence that we've got the deepest and best relationship, the best communication, the most amount of intimacy, and I don't just mean that sexually, but
Yeah.
it does come from all of these pieces. And you've said it now twice, and in this last answer, you expanded it beyond just intellectual, but you said I've been on this pursuit of intellectual truth. And I teach often that mindset or emotions or spirits or physical, like in those 4 realms, there's cellular memory that activates, and all of them will try to convince you of what's true in any given moment. And
Mm.
the highest of high performers are those that have the ability to regulate and discern between them to determine what is true right now.
Hmm.
You call it intellectual truth, but what I can tell in how you speak is it's far more than that. So can you give a little bit of a dynamic as to how you've navigated the different elements and dynamics of truth and how you allow yourself to center in what's true for you right now in any given moment?
Yeah. I don't really know, to be honest with
That's
you.
okay. That's okay.
Yeah, I remember, just one learning, like when I first started out in the industry, so I was a professional investor, and so I would make presentations, you know, to large audiences
Hmm.
at times. And when I first started out, my goal was to impress people
Yeah.
and to get the money. And so I would more often than not, I would tell people what I knew they wanted to hear
Yeah.
rather than just telling them who I was, what to expect from us in different market environments, because I was afraid if I told them the truth, then they might not give me the money, they might not
Mm.
like it. So I would leave little things out that I knew that they probably would have wanted to hear. And then over time, I was getting caught in like little white lies. And Paul,
Yeah.
you said the opposite last year. I thought, oh, geez, I don't remember saying that, but I can imagine saying that. And I said, that is it. I am not doing this anymore. I'm just going to tell people the truth. And if they like it, great. If they don't like it, that's also a good outcome
Yeah.
because I'm empowering them
That's
with
right.
truth and knowledge to make the best decisions with their clients' capital. This is really important business.
Yep.
And and to be honest, I first started, just telling the truth because I was getting embarrassed getting caught in white lies. I wasn't
Yep.
doing it for the right reasons, but then it became so empowering seeing the impact it had on people. Then I started doing it for the right reasons.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
wasn't smart enough to do it for the right reasons at first. That came later,
It's okay. It's
You
okay.
know?
I am big in the sense that I told you what I believe my reason for existence is, but it's like the old adage really is true, right? The truth will set everyone free,
Yeah.
right? And you're right, it can be challenging to like flex that muscle and rehearse it and live in it, but that's even what I say to people that come into my world. If you don't have the courage, the interest, the desire to stand in and find your truth, you're not ready to be in my world yet.
Yeah.
Because at the
No.
end of the day, like it is the only thing that connects us at the deepest level, builds and breeds trust, gives the ability to actually seek understanding and meeting people where they are. And that's how we remove the objectivity and non-judgment. Because as soon as shame and blame, as you talked about, exists earlier, as soon as you start in shame and blame, growth and opportunity go out the window for you and everybody involved. Right. And
Exactly.
so this becomes
Exactly.
so critical in just even the relationships, let alone our financial wealth. It comes down to time, relationships, and health. And you speak about it obviously from a place of deep wisdom, and you're very eloquent with it. I wish we had a little bit more time today. Our other guest is here,
Yeah.
and so I want to transition. But Paul, if you're open to it, I'd love to have you on my long form podcast as well, and give us a little bit more time to dive deeper into your story and some of the work that you're doing.
I'd love to, Brian.
Perfect. Our team
I'd
will
love to.
follow up with you and we'll get that set up. I'd love to continue this. And in the
Awesome.
meantime, everybody can find you at paddingtoncapitalmanagement.com, and your book is Capital Offense: Why Some Benefit at Your Expense. Everybody, if you learned one thing here today from Paul, it is about the importance of truth and understanding. And I encourage each and every one of you to go follow him, find him, and tap into his wisdom. Paul, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much, Brian. It's great to see you.
Be well, my friend. We'll talk soon.
Bye-bye.